Let us discuss today very important topic, that is electrostatics of a conductor. Inside a conductor, the electrostatic field is zero. Remember, inside a conductor, electrostatic field is zero. This fact can be taken as the defining property of a conductor. The electrostatic field is zero. It is from the defining property of a conductor. In the static situation, the free charges or electrons have so distributed themselves that the electric field is zero everywhere inside. So in an if an external electric field is given, that is, in an external electric field, the free electrons drift against the direction of the field. Remember, so if no external electric field is given, that is the static situation, the free charges or the electrons have so distributed themselves that the electric field is zero everywhere inside the conductor. But if the external field is given, the free electrons drift against the direction of the electric field. So if this is the surface of the conductor, then inside the conductor the field equal to 0, E equal to 0, and there is also no charge. Surface density of charge rho is equal to, volume density of charge rho or charge density is also equal to 0. Then the second point is, at the surface of a charged conductor, electrostatic field must be normal to the surface at every point. Okay, surface of a conductor is equipotential, so the electric field is always normal to the surface. For a conductor without any surface charge density, field is zero even at the surface. Okay, for if a conductor have without surface density of charge or surface density of charge sigma is equal to 0, then field is 0 at every point on the surface. Then the third point is, the interior of a conductor can have no excess charge in the static situation. That is, a neutral conductor, if a conductor is neutral, then it has equal number of positive and negative charges. We know in a neutral conductor, the conductor have equal number of positive and negative charges in every small volume or surface element. So there is no excess charge. But when the conductor is charged, the excess charge can reside only on the surface. Remember, the excess charge which is due to the charging of the conductor, it remains on the surface in the static situation. This has been verified by Gauss law. Then the fourth point is, electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume of the conductor and has the same value as inside on its surface. Okay, potential is constant throughout the volume of the conductor and has the same value as inside on its surface. So the potential inside the conductor is equal to the potential on the surface of the conductor. Since inside the conductor field is equal to 0, so potential is equal to constant. Since the surface is equipotential, V is constant on its surface or potential is constant on its surface. If the conductor is charged, electric field normal to the surface exists. When the conductor is charged, then electric field will exist in the surface, which is normal to the surface. The potential will be different for the surface and a point just outside the surface. So if you take 2 points, one is on the surface and another point outside the surface, then the potential on the two surfaces will differ. If a system of conductors of arbitrary size, shape and charge configuration, each conductor is characterized by a constant value of potential, but this constant may differ from one conductor to other conductor. Okay. So if you have a system of conductors of different sizes and shapes and charge configuration, then each conductor is characterized by a constant value of potential. Potential of the different conductors will be different, but this constant may differ from one conductor to other conductor. So in summary, you may say for a conductor, inside the conductor the potential is equal to constant. Let us say the potential V is equal to V0, and it is also equal to the potential on the surface. Surface potential is also equal to V0, and if the conductor is charged, then the electric field is normal to the surface. The field, if this is the field, direction of the field, then this will be normal to the surface. The fifth point is the electric field at the surface of a charged conductor E is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times the surface density of charge sigma into n cap, the unit vector. N cap is the unit vector which is normal to the surface in the outward direction, and sigma is the surface density of charge. We can prove it. Suppose this is the surface of a conductor. This is the surface of a conductor, and you imagine a Gaussian pillbox. This is a Gaussian pillbox, and the surface area of this Gaussian pillbox is delta S. This surface area is delta S, and this length of this pillbox is very small. Okay. The pillbox is nothing but a short cylinder. This is a short cylinder, and a small part of the cylinder, or one part of the cylinder, is inside the surface of the conductor, and another part is outside the surface of the conductor. The pillbox is partly inside and partly outside of the surface of the conductor. So the surface density of charge on this pillbox is sigma, and the electric field which is normal to the surface, the electric field on this pillbox is normal to the surface. So on the surface of a conductor, imagine a Gaussian pillbox. A Gaussian pillbox is nothing but a short cylinder. The pillbox is partly inside and partly outside the surface of the conductor. The area of cross section of the pillbox is delta S. Height of the pillbox is negligible. Just inside the surface of the pillbox, electrostatic field is 0, and just outside the surface of the pillbox, electrostatic field is E. Let us say E, which is normal to the surface. So what will be the total outward flux from the pillbox? It is equal to the field product of field and the surface area, E into delta S, and the total charge on the pillbox is equal to magnitude of the surface density of charge multiplied by delta S. So applying Gauss law, the total flux E delta S will be equal to the 1 by epsilon 0 times the total charge, that is 1 by epsilon 0 times magnitude of the sigma into delta S. So E will be equal to magnitude of the surface density of charge divided by epsilon 0, and in vector form we may write E equal to sigma by epsilon 0 into n cap. Remember, for sigma greater than 0, that means positive surface density of charge, E is normal to the surface and outward, and for sigma less than 0, E is normal to the surface and it is inward. Look to this figure. This is the surface of the conductor, and the electric field E is equal to E of this coming from this surface is equal to sigma by epsilon 0 n cap. If sigma is negative, that means the charge is negative. Suppose in this surface the charge is negative, you see the negative charge, then the direction of the field will be inward in this direction. If on the surface of the charge it is positive, that means sigma is greater than 0 or positive, then the direction of the field will be outward like this. Then the 6th point, electrostatic shielding. If you have a conductor with a cavity, then there are no charges inside the cavity. Suppose this is a conductor and this is the cavity. This is the cavity of the conductor. So if you have a conductor with a cavity, there are no charges inside the cavity. So sigma is equal to 0, E is equal to 0, V equal to V0. That is, whatever be the size and shape of the cavity and whatever be the charge on the conductor. Charge on the conductor means outside charge of the conductor. Okay, and whatever be the external fields in which the conductor is placed. Suppose the conductor is placed in a external field. Okay, so electric field inside the cavity is equal to 0. Remember, electric field inside the cavity is equal to 0. Whatever be the size and shape of the cavity, whatever be the charge on the conductor, okay, and whatever be the external fields in which the conductor is placed. Electric field inside a charged spherical cell is 0. Is not it? The best example is the electric field inside a charged spherical cell. If you take a charged spherical cell, the electric field inside the charged spherical cell is 0. That is the best example to know that electric field inside the cavity is 0. Even if the conductor is charged, suppose the conductor is charged, here you see, if it is plus charge is plus, the field is outward. If the charge is minus, here the charge is minus, sigma is less than 0, the field is inward. Sigma is less than 0, here sigma is greater than 0. So if the conductor is charged or charges are induced on a neutral conductor by an external field, all charges reside only on the outer side of a conductor. The charges will reside on the outer side of the conductor, on the outer surface of a conductor. If you charge the conductor by any means, whether it is charged by induction or it is charged by giving some external field. So remember, electric field inside the cavity is 0. Whatever be the size and shape of the cavity, whatever be the charge on the conductor, whatever be the external fields in which the conductor is placed. Best example is electric field inside a charged spherical cell is 0. Even if the conductor is charged or charges are induced on a neutral conductor by an external field, all charges reside only on the outer surface of a conductor with the cavity. So what is electrostatic shielding? Whatever be the charge and field configuration outside any cavity in a conductor remains shielded from outside electric influence. Remember, whatever be the charge and field configuration outside any cavity in a conductor remains shielded from outside electric influence. This is known as electrostatic shielding. Okay, the field inside the cavity is always 0. This is known as electrostatic shielding. The best application of electrostatic shielding is we usually use electrostatic shielding in protecting sensitive instruments from outside electrical influence. Let us work out some problem on electrostatics of conductors. A comb can run through one's dry hair, attract small bits of paper. Why? A comb gets charged by friction. By combing, the comb gets charged by friction. The molecules in the paper gets polarized by the charged comb, resulting in a net force of attraction. What will happen if the hair is wet or if it is a rainy day? Remember, a paper does not conduct electricity. If the hair is wet or if it is rainy day, friction between hair and the comb reduces. The comb does not get charged and thus it will not attract small bits of paper. Okay. Ordinary rubber is an insulator, but special rubber tires of aircraft are made slightly conducting. Why is this necessary? Due to high friction, the tire of the aircraft get charged. Okay, that is why the tire of the aircraft is conducting to allow the charge to go to the or pass to the ground. Vehicles carrying inflammable materials usually have metallic ropes touching the ground during motion. Why? Because vehicles carrying inflammable materials get charged due to friction, and to deliver the charge to the ground we need ropes, metallic ropes which touches the ground. A bird perches on a bare high power line and nothing happens to the bird. A man standing on the ground touches the same line and gets a fatal shock. Why? We know current passes only when there is difference in potential. When the bird perches on a bare high power line, there is no potential difference between the bird and the ground, because the bird is not connected to the ground. But when the man standing on the ground touches the wire, there is a potential difference between the wire and the ground. That is why the man standing on the ground get fatal shock. So this is a little bit discussion about the electrostatics of conductors. In the next video we will discuss about the dielectrics and polarization. Thank you.